The town of Estes Park, Colorado, a summer mountain resort town, serves a year-round population of 5,500 residents and a visiting population of 2.8 million tourists, the largest tourist population in Colorado. Estes Park is ideally located adjacent to Rocky Mountain National Park with its majestic mountains, hiking trails, and wildlife. The beautiful Riverside Plaza is a popular venue for tourists. However, in 2002, many tourists were avoiding the plaza because of the unacceptable criminal behaviors of some juveniles. The Estes Park Police Department began a series of initiatives to address the problem. The strategies resulted in increased juvenile arrests, strict enforcement of local ordinances, and zero tolerance for unwanted behavior. However, some citizens believe the enforcement was unfair, thereby placing the police and justice system at odds with many youth and their families. The Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership was seen as a way to bring the community together while reducing crime and juvenile arrests. Restorative Justice is a hybrid program whose operations are within the Estes Park Police Department. However, a nonprofit board of directors provides guidance through the mission statement and support through fundraising activities. The executive director is a Town of Estes Park employee who sits on the command staff for the Estes Park Police Department and reports to the Chief of Police as the Community Service Manager. The case manager processes referrals, assigns facilitators, and monitors cases as they move through the restorative justice process. The Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership solicits community members to serve as volunteer facilitators. All volunteers participate in 2 days of training and a monthly team meeting to enhance their skills. The restorative justice exists to reduce crime and disorder by bringing together offenders, victims, and community. The Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership is guided by the 6 principles of restorative justice: repair of harm to victims, offenders, and community, reconciliation and repair of relationships, reintegration into the community, responsibility taken by all individuals for their part in the incident, restitution to the victims, and respect given and received by all. The practical application of these principles is through the community group conference model. Each case begins by a referral from the Estes Park Police Department patrol officers, the municipal court, the district court, or the district attorney. Once juveniles are referred to the Estes Valley Restorative Justice Program, the case is reviewed by the case manager and assigned to a volunteer team of 2 facilitators who schedule a pre-conference meeting first with the offender. The agenda is getting the offender's story and making sure they take responsibility. This is the single largest difference from what would occur in the traditional system. The offender must accept responsibility for the incident. A pre-conference meeting is also held with the victims of the crime. They are asked to share their story, and they are asked how they were affected. They are encouraged to participate in the community group conference so that they are able to share the harm they experienced and request that repairs be made by the offender. The community group conference, a face-to-face meeting of victim, offender, and community members, is then planned and may involve many types of participants: victim and offender support, coaches, neighbors, teachers, school administration, the arresting officer, substance abuse or other counselor, mentoring representatives, or anyone who has a particular stake in the offense. The offender is asked to share the events of the crime, and then the victim is asked to share the impact and harm resulting from the crime. Then, other community group conference participants are asked to identify how they, their families, or the community at large was affected. The conference then enters the agreement phase, where they focus on identifying the repair needed to correct the harm that the group listed. The contract consists of a maximum of 5 items, but 2 are always the same: completing the post-conference questionnaire prior to leaving and attending an impact of crime class. A date is agreed upon for the offender to turn in proof of contract completion, and then the group is brought back together for the offender to share what he or she did and to answer any questions that the conference participants may have at that time in a post-conference meeting. If the offender completes the contract items by the agreed-upon due date, there is no criminal entry on their record. If the offender fails to complete any of their contract items, the case is referred back to the courts.
At first it was scary because I didn't know what to expect, but then once everybody started talking to us and we started going through the whole thing, it was wonderful. I mean, it gave my son a second chance.
Would you likely do something different in the future now that you've participated in restorative justice?
Just think before you act and don't follow the group.
When I heard him say in that conference and talk about, what he'd done, and, that was a good thing too, because I really saw him begin to accept responsibility for what he'd done.
The offender has had to admit things to his parents that perhaps he has not done before in the past.
They have to meet face-to-face with the person that they have victimized, and they have to take responsibility and provide restitution.
You can't plead not guilty in one of our conferences. You have to own the responsibility, and I like seeing them do that.
Since the program's inception, the Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership has had just under 200 referrals. 100% of the offenders have completed the community group conference. 89% have completed their contracts. Victims participate 81% of the time. Community group conference participants rate themselves satisfied or very satisfied 98% of the time. 100% of restitution has been paid. The process has also been applied to work with parolees returning to Estes Park after being incarcerated. Community circles create partnerships that promote positive social interaction, support, and accountability for offenders returning to the community. 2 volunteer circle keepers coordinate and facilitate weekly meetings over a period of 1 year, along with 5 to 9 volunteer community members and a core member. Each circle is designed to focus on the core member, emphasizing strengths and needs in 6 basic life areas: employment, family and marital, associates and social interaction, substance abuse, community functioning, and personal and emotional. The goal of community circles is to increase the likelihood of offenders successfully re-entering the community and learning to lead a healthy, safe, and crime-free lifestyle. The Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership responded to a community initiative in 2002 by building 2 programs promoting victim, offender, and community interaction to reduce crime and disorder.
And I think after the trust was established is when you start to see progress with kids like this.
As a board member, I've helped formulate policy and guide the program to what it is today, which is a very, very successful program that deals in a multitude of ways to help the community. As Mayor Pro Tem, I've been able to watch and make sure that the resources that are coming are adequate and give whatever support I can.
When you really get down to the nuts and bolts of restorative justice, it's not a philosophy, it's not a program. It is a set of values and principles. It's a guideline, so to speak, of how to treat people in conflict, and how to treat people in general. And it really centers on bringing people together. It concentrates on harm and repair, but it's that idea of bringing people together versus isolating people that enables it to effectively problem solve.
It took a little while to train the officers, and once they got used to it, they actually prefer to use the restorative justice route rather than introducing them through the court process. And the reason for that is because of the community involvement and the officer being able to get more involved in the final outcome. It's an awesome program. I fully buy into it. I'm glad to see it's expanding. It's just phenomenal.
2 things. I think first of all, we protect the rights of the young person. I treat them just the same as an adult from the standpoint of respect. And secondly, we also give them an opportunity to keep their record non-criminal and still address their conduct. So for me, restorative justice has been a great addition as an alternative kind of resolution of conduct that's inappropriate in Estes Park.
As a mountain resort community, Estes Park, Colorado is unlike other more urban areas in its response to crime. The Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership is our community's attempt to reduce juvenile crime issues while providing a meaningful experience for the victim, the community, and the offender.